There we go.
All right. Happy Friday.
Well,
We're
hello.
live, yeah?
Yep,
Yeah.
we're all live.
All right. So it's Friday and Jay and I are live because what else will we do on a Friday?
Right?
And yeah, so let's just get right into it because this one's going to be fun because when I so when I when I got into contracting, uh here's how can I tell you about our CRM?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if I've told you this story. Okay, so our CRM was well, there wasn't one.
Right.
What we did was we had two different, we'll call them CRMs.
Okay.
The first one was physical folders, and I'm not judging anybody if you're still in physical folders. I'm not judging you, but it is, if you're in a small town and you have physical folders, it's one thing. When you cover 12,000 square miles and you have physical folders, different thing. But there was an electronic component, and I'm laughing because the electronic component was just the, Microsoft calendar. So the only place that the customer's information lived, other than QuickBooks, of course, right, other than in the books, was for access, general access, was in the calendar. So and I'm not exaggerating, think about this, 17, 18, 19. So for 3.5 years actually, when I wanted to get a customer's information, so I started saving them in my phone, but like certain things I wouldn't save, I wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't get everything, right, Jay?
Right.
So certain things so I'd have to go, I would go to my calendar, right? I would go into my iPhone, I would go to the calendar and I would hit the little search box and I would search the customer's name in my calendar to find like a phone number or an address or or some detail about like the job or whatever. Needless to say, it was not the most efficient way to manage a relationship.
Right.
And then it got even more complicated because generally speaking, you don't just go out one time, right? So there would be multiple entries. So I would tap one entry and I would, oh, that's not the one. I'd tap another entry. Oh, that's not the one. And I'd be tapping around looking for a calendar entry just to get like a particular detail about the customer. So I obviously that is not the ideal way to track your customers and keep using calendars. Was not designed to be a contact manager also. So and again, I say this, I'm not making fun of anybody. Okay, because and I'm not making fun of anyone out there that doesn't know this, because there's probably still folks that don't. And again, there's no judgment here. There's a judgment-free zone. But I did have to teach my team what CRM was. Like when I first said, hey, so in 2020 is when we got our first CRM. So I said, so we're going to implement a CRM, and I explained some of the benefits of that, and I was kind of going through it, and someone like kind of sheepishly raised her hand and she's like, what's CRM stand for?
Right.
And I was like, customer relationship management. So anyway, so it was a and I don't want to tell on anybody, but I will tell on. So there was one person in the business that like did not want to switch to the CRM. And that made for some interesting conversations. It also, again, made for some very complicated like tracking. So then our admin would have to track his stuff, right, in the calendar, and then she would bring everything over, which, was not ideal. So, and I mean, it's just cost her a lot of time, right? Because everything was double, she was double doing everything.
Yep.
So, needless to say, so it was it was tough because I had to teach everybody, not just what a CRM was, but like kind of like, from like, okay, here's why we're doing this, right? Here's why the calendar's not great, why not the ideal place to capture our customer information. And, that was from there to, then, I mean, when I exited the business last year, everything got captured in the CRM from the start, right? From the jump. And, that would go all the way through to the job and billing and everything else.
Yep.
So, I mean, we ended up, we got there, but I mean, it's, it was not, it was
Not ideal.
something that I thought would be, I would say easy, but something that I thought would be, oh, this is, like the CRM. Like, I mean, because I'd been using Contact Manager since, 2002 or something, but it was like it was a big deal. And people treated it like a big deal. Like, this is so hard. So, anyway, there's probably, we don't have time for it today, but I mean, I could tell you about 15 different mistakes I made, including like not doing enough training on it. That was something I just thought, well, this is intuitive, right? It's not intuitive. So it took a lot longer to implement. Like, it took the better part of the full 2020, right? We started implementing it. I mean, there was a pandemic in there, but like, we started in February, and it really wasn't until like the end of the year when people were like comfortable with it, which, I would never have imagined. So anyway, and you'd think it's a simple thing, right?
You would think so. And again, just kind of back up what you were saying in terms of, no one being, if you don't have a CRM, I understand. Okay. I actually spoke to a contractor this morning, high 7 figures, on his way to 8 figures, 0 CRM. I asked him, how are you actually operating this business? His hands went up and he says, I'm hustling. That was his words to me. I am hustling. I'm like, okay, so like, explain to me for a second, like when an estimate comes in, he goes, well, I get an email. I'm like, and where does it go from there? He goes, well, then I put it in, I email it to whatever sales rep I want to do the quote. I'm like, and then what happens from there? Well, they give him a quote. How are you giving your quotes? He's like, oh, well, we put it on carbon paper. I'm like, no. So like, I'm listening to this, and these guys are doing a lot of work. All right. Not a little bit. So, I mean, again, it doesn't matter your system. Like, you guys are still making it work. But here's going to be my message for this, this session is you may have gotten by without it. All right. But you won't be able to get by without it going forward very much longer. Okay. And I'm going to say that boldly, and I'm going to say that so you guys open your ears and listen to what I'm about to tell you. Okay. First of all, there is a huge evolution going on that is going to affect you whether you like it or not. Okay. And that evolution is going to be automation, AI, technology. I know, like, this is the big shiny object. But I'm here to sort of bear witness to you guys how this stuff is real, and it's having major impacts now. So a CRM traditionally has been nothing more than really a project management system. And when I say a project management system, a lot of guys buy the off-the-shelf CRMs that come with very little support. You kind of implement it yourself. And I rarely, and I deal with, these kind of system builds day in and day out now, where guys are bringing their CRMs to us and showing us all the Frankenstein connections they've made, the crazy stuff I'm seeing. But really simply, most of the stuff that's off the shelf, Service Titan, Service Fusion, all these other ones, they're project management systems. They're meant to manage the client's experience once the job has been sold. Okay. Some of them have, some claims to market, and they have a few marketing features here and there. But I promise you, one thing that contractors famously overlook is the marketing aspect. All right. So when we think about marketing, most guys out there are outsourcing, buying leads. They're not connected on their marketing. So what is it they do? Be it a landing page, be it Google ads, be it, Facebook ads, be it, social media campaigns, all of that you're putting money into, you have to advertise, right? The platform that you are collecting the data back is who's going to win and lose in the game going forward. And I mean that sincerely. Okay. If you are in this game and you don't recognize that the only thing that matters to a contracting business to grow is sales and marketing, Okay, those are the two things you need to face as a feature and a function to your business. If you can't control the levers of those two things, sales and marketing, you as the owner will be trapped in your business under a salary wage forever indefinitely. So anybody
Right.
that's out there that's listening, I want you to understand this first and foremost. You must start to control your marketing. You must know your cost per acquired customer. All right. What does that cost look like? How is that changed by the type of advertising you're doing? What is the return on your investment for it? Too many times we get into these conversations, well, what should I spend on advertising and marketing? And where should I spend that? Well, that's a question that needs to start and stop with data. Okay. So I always ask the question back, well, how are you tracking what's converting for you? Oh, well, I don't. I was speaking with a company again this week, over 100 employees. 100 employees don't track their sales data. They have no idea what the closing ratios are, but
A
yet they keep
hundred
buying. Yeah,
employees. Oh,
7
wow.
sales reps, no clue on
Oh
what their
my
closing ratio
goodness.
sales is. And again, I'm not talking down to these guys. I'm with them. I've been there. I've done it. It's mistakes that, again, I've lived through and learned from. You don't have to do that anymore. Technology has come so far. All right. And I'm going to share with you guys, kind of a look into the future of what it will look like. So first of all, let's capture the major asset that we're outsourcing to other companies and being preyed upon by marketing agencies left, right, and center. If you can't control the lever of your marketing, you do not own a business. Okay. You own
Right.
a order taking service that is susceptible to inflation, ups and downs. You can't control those features. You can't control your sales. Guys, go get a job for someone else. All right. And I mean that in the nicest way, but the game and the level of play is going up. And it's going up substantially, and it's only going to be to a few select guys that get this right off the bat. All right. Now, the good news. Let's go with the good news. Let's talk about a transformation here. Okay. I get, for the most guys that are probably listening in, or probably, and that I talk to day in and day out, technology sucks, right? They don't want to, right? It's not what we didn't probably graduate, and that we're not completely tech savvy. And up to this point, you could run a successful business without having a lot of technology. And it was simple and simple scales.
Right.
I get that. Okay. But here's the outlook that I think you guys need to take into account. Number one, I want you to think about overhead cost. Let's start where it matters. Okay. If you're running a business and you're not considering your overhead costs and the cost to have staff to meet with clients, book calls, schedule appointments, like that's an administrative role. Okay. Let's take that one role and just isolate it for a second. Maybe, at the low end, you're paying 40,000. At the high end, you're paying 70 to 80,000. Okay. That's one role. How much control do you have on that currently? Right? Think about that. If you are doing things old school, how do you know for sure
Yeah.
that you don't have a customer service problem, that the girl answering the phone isn't blowing every lead for you, and you're just saying, oh, well, everyone's underpricing? How do you know? If you
Right.
can't look me in the face and tell me exactly where problems started occurring, you can't trace that with data, not emotions, not your gut, not
Right.
any of that stuff. If you're not using data to diagnose where your problems are in your sales, you are already behind. Okay. Now, with that said, we got to think of a CRM as a little bit more than what we've traditionally, what the market has offered. And what the market has offered is an off-the-shelf CRM that is generally not compatible or doesn't play nice with other tools. So if we want to use Company Cam and these other things, they don't play so nice. Like, that's been the
Right.
traditional thing. Very few contractors ever utilize the full features of any CRM that they have. And in fact, all right, they use a small portion of it incorrectly. That leads to them having disorganization, and they're actually doing more damage than good in a lot of cases. They're also not taking advantage of common, like, basic, which I would think is simple, but other people, like, are you following up with emails? Are you following up with text? Are you thinking about the journey you're giving your clients? It doesn't matter about how well you do the job. Guys, you got to get this through your head. At the end of the day, there's tons of companies that have mediocre quality that are absolutely killing you. All right. Why? Because they know something that you're not paying attention to, and that's
Yeah.
they give their client a better experience. All right. You can get away with a lot of sins by understanding how emotionally that client's feeling and serving that emotion as they move through your pipelines. Now, when we want to get technical about this, a lot of that, and even more so now, can be automated, right? So we're not talking about adding another person to our business. We're reducing people, okay? It can be automated, and now it can be segmented, analyzed, and AI can respond to a client in a personal way that better than you could. And that's really what you're coming up against. And I want to give you a real example of how this is working. In my CRM, I can analyze certain market segments. I can analyze which areas they're located. I can analyze, hey, how many, of these type of quotes have we made, right? And I can look at, and I don't need to come up with it. All right. Like these are simple prompts that we're using in our CRM that's giving us a clear cut customer segment. We know right now the only people that have been buying from us for the last 3.5, 4 months, okay, have been high ticket, high rollers, high income baby boomers. That is it. We have sold not one roof, not one, to millennials. My marketing has adjusted to that market because they're the ones with the money, disposable cash, right? If I did not have AI to inform me of that immediately while it was happening real time, okay, and I'm using data, I could have very well continued to market to the wrong group of people, all right? And the cost of that acquired customer would have gone up through the roof, okay? Now that's one prime example, right?
Jay, can I interrupt you real quick? So,
Sure.
I mean, for everyone out there, like what would that be in like in revenue terms? And you don't need to get into your business, but like broad revenue terms, what would that have cost you both on the expense and on the, because you wouldn't have gotten as many, you wouldn't have closed as many contracts.
Right. So exactly.
I mean, what's the swing? What would
so
what have the swing been for you had you not utilized that?
Yeah. So I mean, if we were to take just a drop of 15% rev, right? We're talking
15%. That's
15 to 20%, easy of pure rev.
Oh my goodness.
Right. On top of that, our closing ratios. This is the part that, again, this is why these numbers are so damn important. Okay. I first became aware of it because our closing ratios at the end of last year were struggling a bit. We keep ours at about 40% consistently. Again, it's sometimes a little bit lower, sometimes a little bit higher, but we see going into what traditionally is a slow period, all right, or busy period, sorry, that we'd come down like 5%. So, I mean, for us, we don't get panicky about that. We've got backlog, we've got other levers in our marketing we can pull. But what the way I operate my system is, I know I need to counteract and keep those consistent. All right. Consistency, reduce variables, same client, same avatar, same person. Well, I keep pumping cash. And sometimes, again, like the economy goes down, that's not a reason to do less business. That's a reason to do more business. But your cost per acquired customer is going to go up. All right. Now, how much it goes up depends on how intelligently you are managing your marketing. Okay. So I'll give you again how the AI had literally brought my acquired cost per client, which around $1,586. My ticket price is 40,000 and in change overall. All right. I'm buying that business for $1,586. Okay. Now that's with my profitability built in.
Good return.
That's unheard of. And it's because I have unfair advantages in, again, most contractors, I'm going to say in my niche, in my type of work, are around 5 or 6K. I'm already beating the market easily. Okay. Now I challenge you guys, the guys that say, hey, you know what? I live off referrals. I live off of, well, guys, I hate to have to break this news to you, but let's take that and apply some cost to it. Let's take that and apply some resistance to it. And let's really think about what our acquired cost is at that point. All right. So if you live off referrals, okay, and then the same guys in the same sentence go, yeah, I haven't been able to break $1 million. Interesting. Okay. Now, in the same conversation, the guys that I'm talking to about this, while I live off, it's like a badge of honor. I live all off referrals. My business is all referral. Great. When inflation goes up, do you suffer the same consequences as everybody else in the market? Right. So you were serving the middle market, right? And all of a sudden they collapse, right? They're most affected by inflation, right? So again, this is one way to look at it. We've got 3 buying groups. All right. If you're doing home services or direct to customer, you've got 3 buying groups. You got broke people, you got the middle class, and you got rich people. Okay. So when inflation goes up, who's most affected by inflation?
Middle class.
The guy that was broke is still broke. No difference than maybe he's even a little bit poorer. The middle class has just had their RSPs or their investments taken out, and 40% to them will take them years to recoup. Multiple years. They just became your price sensitive consumer. All right. And they're off the board. So we were, again, for all through COVID, that market was being pumped. Everyone was, thinking they're getting rich, but they're not. All right. It's being inflated. That's that is where its mechanism is. Now, if you're a rich person, and I'm talking net worth million plus, I mean, in my area, it's 2 million plus net worth. Okay. You're not really affected. If you got $5 million in the bank and it goes down 40%, your lifestyle is not changing. Okay. You're still buying the same way you were buying.
You're uncomfortable.
You're going to be a little bit more price sensitive. And then you think about it, as we go up, you've got 10 million, you got 15 million, you got 20 million. Okay. The buying behavior becomes more and more stable. Like, they're going to buy premium products no matter what. Now, they're going to be a little bit more, it's still going to be a little bit slower, but at the end of the day, okay, we have to know that information because it changes the way that we market. And if you're going out there and you're wildly spraying about with your marketing, and it's, not in a place where you can control it or that you have an understanding of it, this particular recession is going to hit you like it's never hit before. And I'm already seeing it because guys like me, all right, and guys like our clients that we build these systems for, all right, are leveraging these AIs to analyze their data real time to say, hey, you know what, we've noticed a trend or a pattern. I couldn't, again, I value myself very good at recognizing patterns and trends. I've never been that good. I've never, because its whole existence is based around that, and you can get it to analyze and point out opportunities. We do it with clients almost on a daily basis now, where they're marketing to the wrong group of buyers. Yeah. Do not get yourself in that situation, and do not guess at these things. Unless you are a full-time marketer and you really know marketing, do not make assumptions. Do not guess. What worked last year may not work in the next coming years, okay? Because we are essentially that, the middle class is in trouble, all right? And I think that's very evident already at this point. We haven't even began yet. Like, over the next 12, 13 months, guys, like, open your eyes. Your businesses are going to be under attack, and who's going to be attacking is guys that can do things more efficiently with less staff, less employees, do it in a way that caters to the client, better customer service. We talked about that last week. Okay. How do you think of doing those things? Where do you think all that information is going? We're in the data information age, period. Stop. Hard. Okay. The companies that are winning are analyzing the real-time data. And the more that we're collecting and the more that we can customize the experience for our clients, okay? And, again, you think about a automated message. When someone sends you an automated text message that they send to everybody else, does that help to persuade you to buy anything? No, forget it. Same with I want you to think the same as your marketing campaigns. If you're sending out just a generic, do you think that that's going to be effective with the C and the ability for us to create content now? Do you think that's going to be anywhere effective? No, not effective anymore. What you could have got away with, you will not get away with anymore. If you think for 1 second that you can go out and just generally offer your services to every group, every buyer, good luck to you. Okay. Now, this doesn't have to be a scary process. And the good thing about it is you don't need to have data analytics skills, right? Like, again, right. You build these prompts and you put safeguards, you make sure you're messaging. And if you don't know how to do that, reach out to us. We'll help you. Okay. That's what we're here for. This is what we stand for. We don't want to see you guys get ran over by the wave that's coming. And it's very much in front of you. Okay. There are companies now that have got some of these tools that they're harnessing. Adrian, even in our own business, how we're creating content, it is moving faster, more consistent, more direct than it's ever been. Okay. Now, when we take a CRM, what we have to understand is that don't confuse the two. Customer service management system with a project management system. Okay, if you look carefully, and I'm warning you guys, open your eyes, take a look at your software you're using now. If your software does not allow you to have websites, have social media, contact clients, like all of those things where people are having conversations, if you're not able to meet your client where they're at with your CRM real time, you do not have a CRM, you have a project management system. Okay. So again, I give you this fine example. Somebody messages you on social media through a social media campaign. How quickly can you get back to them? And how personal is it? Can you book a call? Can you book them to an appointment? All right. Now let's apply this to commercial. All right. There's a problem on a job site. All right. Do they have a place or an access point where somebody can get back to them immediately? And remember, again, let's say that they call you. All right. How do they know that you got the message? How do they, again, they go on your website, they go on the portal that you've given them. Okay. More importantly, let's think about it from HR. All right. Let's use HR for an example. How many of you guys have to answer the same check questions every week to multiple guys? How many of you guys are answering the same bullshit over and over again? Or customers, clients that are interested, commonly asked questions. Can they go and get that information from you? Like they're making a decision at 10 o'clock at night, sales reps phones off, right? They go to your website and they're trying to find it. If you had a chat right there that just automatically popped it up and started to make the sale to them again, are you further ahead in your sales process? Absolutely. Okay. Here's where the real money kicks in. Okay. How many of you guys do effective follow-up? Let's be honest. How many of you guys think your salespeople do follow-ups effectively? All right. What if I were to tell you that the behavior and the conversations your client has had with you is all data-driven and able to analyze, and these AIs can go in and have proper, like they're scary, like Adrian, you've seen our personalities come out with the AIs and stuff, and the way we set them up is you feel that you are on a journey with a real person. How could, again, you don't realize how thorough these things are and how we tune them in. And I mean, they're not perfect. I won't, I'm not going to, exaggerate the fact there is, some signs, and you can ask it. All right. But at the end of the day, we want to think about when somebody follows up personally, like, hey, I see we gave you a quote on the 15th. Just wanted to know, if the gate service or whatever had been there yet, because those were the notes that you put in, that the gate at the front of the property had to be fixed before we could go ahead with the project. It's going to pull that as being one of the questions, and it's going to ask the customer it, right? Hey, we just wanted to know when we could get started. I want to reach out to you and just, give you some value, give you a checklist. Like all of these things can be implemented where they're firing without a human being. And again, you leave it to a staff member to do those. You leave it to automation even. It's never going to be timed right, and you're not going to get the level of personalization. Now, I will tell you for sure what's going to happen, and it's already starting to occur in front of us, is that people are starting to doubt the validity of any text, any communication, they're like, is this really a person? How many times have you done it? Right? When you're jumping on in a messenger, it's hard to tell. It's really difficult, right?
Like, is this a human?
Right. But again, we're going to go through this phase where there's a big swath of people resisting it. All right. And already we see the resistance. We see the memes and the pictures and everything else. Like I already know, and I'm talking to clients where it literally it's a novel thing. It's interesting, but like they're not picking up on how practical and how quickly they can implement these things to start changing their client journey, changing their recruits journey, changing their business overhead costs. Like these are the things that if you're not taking these steps, and building a CRM is where it's all housed. Okay. And Adrian, you've seen our system. It's all housed within the CRM. So you have to pick wisely. First of all, if it's not compatible and the developer of that's going to have to write code and forget it. Those softwares are going to be wiped out. Now, again, guys like Service Fusion and stuff like that, they're still great for project management. And I'm not bashing them. I think that they have a great product, but in terms of their marketing, not a CRM. Client journey, not a CRM. being able to control the most important costs, being able to control your sales team, know what they're doing, who they're talking to, when they're talking to, tasking, all those things. You need to be 100% hand on, like those are the numbers that matter. Those are the numbers that drive results. Those are the things that if I were to go back, a decade or more and only focus on, those would have been there because I would have been here 10 years sooner. Okay. So we want to think of this being the first step. If you don't have one, get one. Okay. Doesn't have to be ours. I'm not pushing or peddling. I want you guys to just recognize, first of all and foremost, that if you're not setting yourself up with a system that can grow with your business and that will have these capabilities, you are going to miss the bus. Right. So,
Well, and Jay, I mean, if I can interrupt real quick, I
Yeah.
mean, I sold a lot of work, even though I was running the business.
Mhm.
And I mean, dude, I'm reasonably on top of things. It's tough,
it's, you forget. I mean,
yeah,
again,
you forget. And I used the CRM. I would go
Right.
in and I would set up follow-up activities for myself, but something would pop up and I'm on a job site or I'm
Right.
about scaffolding and I'm like, well, I'm not calling them up here, I need to,
Mhm.
and then, and then I get another call from the other job site down the street and now I'm down there and then I forget. And the next day I'm like, oh shit, I got to call so-and-so.
Sounds like hustle. Sounds like you're having to hustle. Like
Right.
really work hard, right? Like, and again, can you
Yeah.
hustle? Can you hustle forever?
Well,
Do you think you could, like, in your best, in your prime? All right. Now, let's assume all the advantages. Okay. You're going to get 100 clients. Like a machine learning, like CRM system that is going to compete directly against you. Okay. Gets the 100 clients. All right. It's a game of nutrition at this point. Like,
oh yeah.
at the end of the day,
yeah.
a percentage of those clients are you're going to just win by following up. You're going to win by
Right.
personalized messaging. If you tried to follow up and you had the same 100 clients, eventually there's going to come cracks in your armor. Like, you just cannot do it. You can't compete
Right.
with that type of thoroughness. Like, again, you're not paying this person. Like, sales reps were paying. We have to compensate
Right.
them. They have good days. They have bad days. They're human beings, right? And again, in terms of predictability data, like, it's very hard to track if you don't have these things in place. Like, what is the behavior of my sales rep? What are they actually, like, what are they converting at? Like again, and the key here is to be not reactive, right? Because how many contractors live in the I'm putting out the fire every day
Right.
job? Right? Every day they go out, they just put out fires. That is the worst use of your time ever. The key here is to see trends as they form. And again, if you're not about that, that's cool. All right. You can get things in place now where it can be looking out for those things. You can ask it again. Before you would have to come up with the whole structure and you'd have to it's a huge time commitment. Where it's changed is now we just need to know how to ask the right questions.
Right.
Okay? The right questions, all right, is a big difference. Somebody else is answering those questions that's far more intelligent and has a much better memory than we will ever have. So how can you not see this as if you're not involved with it, if you're not adapting to it, if you haven't started your transition, your digital transition, now's the time. Okay, because you have a small window where people they're just kind of becoming aware of what this thing will mean to our society and mean to our lives. And we have, I'm going to say, probably a year, 2 years before it really we start seeing really crazy, parts of the market being wiped out and good things happening. Just as, like, again, as much as I'm using, a mechanism of fear here and giving warnings and stuff, I want you to realize something. I want you to just recognize for a second here. Where else in all the time of you being a contractor is something so new and so revolutionary come along that you could benefit from immediately? So again, think of the guy. I want to speak directly to an avatar, somebody that's above 50 that needs to sell their business in the next 10 to 15 years, is looking for an exit plan. Okay. Well, guys, you're going to be having that exit plan right alongside of 100 million other people trying to do the same thing. What's going to differentiate your business is, first of all, did you use a proper strategy? Do you have reoccurring revenue? Okay. Do you have those things in place? Can you prove that your business can function without you? That is the biggest driving decision that's going to be whether your business is worth a dime at the end of the day or not, or whether you're just selling it for equipment and that's it. So guys, get real about this. These systems are the extra. Being able to prove that you can operate your business without being there is everybody's goal as a contractor. And I've been very blessed to be able to do that, again, and I have a hands-off approach that allows me to be here doing what I really love to do, right? So guys, this is real stuff. These are game-changing plays at this point. And for some guys that are behind, this is your time to catch up, right?
Yeah, and I think that the decision is, I mean, like getting off the hamster wheel, because it doesn't really matter, it doesn't matter what the solution is. It's, if you want to get off the hamster wheel and if you want to stop chasing your tail every day, because I mean, I did that and I wasn't doing it for as long as a lot of other people are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was, it was like for better part of 2.5 years, I was like, this is crazy, because it was just like fire after fire after fire. And I'm running materials and I'm running, saw blades and grinder blades. Right. And I'm going to, Harbor Freight to get this. And I'm going to Granger to get that. And I was like, this is nuts. This is totally nuts. Totally. And it's just every day. It was just, and every day it's like, waking up to like multiple fires, So I think it's like, anyone who wants to get off the hamster wheel, forget the fact that it's AI and all that, and then you don't know about this, you're not sure about this. Like, this is a killer solution. And frankly, like if I were still in that seat, I would be doing this right now, like right now. Because I was on top. I mean, I think again, compared to my peers, I was probably more on top of things. My notes, I mean, I could go into my, if I had access to my notes right now, I could show you nearly every conversation with the prospect or a customer or whatever with respect to a project that was, meaningful, like an important conversation. But that took an unbelievable amount of work, right? And there were still lots of things that I missed. So, I think it's like anyone who wants to get off the hamster wheel, like this is the
and I don't want to
huge way to do it.
So I want to make a statement on this. It's not if you want to. It's really the opposite. If you don't, all right, you will be on the hamster wheel. Like there's no conditional. No, I'm not. Again, I'm not. I'm trying to drive this home for a simple reason: is I'm seeing firsthand with a development team and with what is coming at us and what we can take advantage of now. And it scares me. I'm going, how soon will it be before I get replaced? Like, what I mean? Yeah. Like so all I can do, knowing what I know and seeing what I've seen already and seeing the transformation that it's occurred in the short, like again, something that would have taken 2-3 years before, we're doing in 3 months, 90-day sprints. Right. And like these businesses are completely gone a different direction. Like, again, I'm going in with owners and I'm telling them this and they're totally skeptical of me. And I've had, you can imagine this. I'll share a story with you from my recent past that we've been able to kind of turn around, but the same contractor I was kind of discussing before, his team outright laughed at me. And like they laughed in my face while we're on a Zoom call about all these changes I was going to implement with them. And they were like, we're not going to change the system for this. Like this, like I could not get it through to them. And again, it was like a humbling moment because I was like, wow. And again, it wasn't like it was all just a bunch of baby boomers that don't even know how to use their emails. No, right. These were like 25, 30-year-olds, 35-year-olds that were on the call going, it can't do that. I was like, okay, well, let me be the example then. Open up my system and say, here, like, let's watch it happen real time. And I'll point out where these transactions are taking place. Better yet, again, let's compare numbers. Let's compare overhead costs. How much are you, like all of you guys in this room, no one's working for free, right?
Right.
right? And I put it back to them in that way. And within like a 30-40 minute of them seeing this thing, having real conversations, getting real results, booking real appointments, making clients happy, having referrals come through without that contact, they knew right there that their jobs were in danger. And the reason why is because the ones that don't adapt and don't learn how to give this system the direction and rethink their positions or their jobs are the ones that are going to be the most absolutely like demolished with this. Okay. Now, the good news for contractors is no one's coming to take our construction jobs anytime soon. Okay. So we got to think about where we're going to focus. What it's going to take out are those middlemen, those, the marketing agencies, the guys that have held knowledge back from us for, and sold it to us on a reoccurring basis. The ones that we've made rich, and I'm thinking of the website companies, I'm thinking of the SEO companies, I'm thinking of, the digital marketers. Now, there's still some very good media buyers. I'm not going to shit on everyone, but for every one, there's 15 hack ones that they're like parasites. They promise results to the clients. They never deliver. You're out the $5-6 grand. You get paid, like it's money gone. Then you're resistant to doing any sort of marketing. That doesn't have to be that way, right? Take control of your own process and your own destiny. That will change because now, again, the proper prompts, the proper setup will allow you to do the things that you couldn't do before. Right.
Well, and I think, you were a few minutes ago, you were saying, Jay, that, we're all, I'm wondering sometimes, am I talking to a person or is this an AI? But
does it matter?
Does
it matter?
Because at the end of the day, if you get your answer,
this is the part that, again, I can't, I'm glad somebody's getting it. Okay. I'm glad that you said that, because here's the thing. You must have noticed too, and again, people since post-COVID, patience has gone down. Like nobody has patience. Like the speed we have to move. And here's a couple things fueling this. Like, are you able to give your clients an Amazon-like experience? Because that's what they want. They're like, it's all over the place. How many of you are using Amazon yourself? What is that training us and conditioning us to expect from every vendor we work with? Boom, snap.
Right now.
So as we're going through this cycle where baby boomers are now, again, they're still the top people spending money in the markets, right? They're still like, all the business owners, but like for how much longer, and then there's this next wave of people, and even the baby boomers are moving in this direction. We're selling more and more this way. Grandma's still using Amazon. So she's okay spending a lot of money online and through these systems. But here's where, where I think that there's some confusion as well. How is AI going to, make my business better immediately, right? Well, first of all, how many of you get back to your clients immediately? Right. How many of you guys get back to your prospects immediately? How many of you guys have something friendly there 24/7 that you're not paying a wage to? Right. Let's think about it. Let's just use our little caps here, right? And think about just that one thing. Right. If you had that one
employees thing. How many have employees that if you ask them a question at 2:30 in the morning or 4:30 in the morning or 8:30 at night would not complain ever,
right?
And would be ready to work like immediately,
right? So the key here is to understand, first of all, the expectations of the clients are going to go up no matter what. You're going to have to be able to serve at a higher level because everybody else is elevating. So it only takes one person in your marketplace to improve their customer service, improve their referral process, improve, their client journey. And now the bar is higher and you're not there. You're not meeting that bar, and what worked before is now not going to work. And I promise you this is happening. It's happening in every single sector, in every single business. Like, again, you are going to see a full, like, don't sleep on this, right? Like, it's happening in front of us.
So go ahead. What's the practical application, Jay? So again, someone's like, okay, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What's next? Like, how do I do this and not like have to train my team for 9 months? And
so shameless plug. All right. So first of all, I feel like we need to put our training wheels on first. All right. So for anyone that's listening in that wants to join school, I've put together a course where, for the first few people, we're letting in free. Like I'm not, again, try and run the prompts, try and have
Can
it
you
be
explain what
practical things.
school is, Jay?
Yeah.
Can you
So
explain
school's
what that
a,
is?
yeah. So it's we'll call it
We're not talking about elementary school or high
yeah, yeah.
school
So
here.
school's a private like course platform, or not a course platform. It's for where our masterminds are, right? So we're pretty selective of who we invite in there. And in there, I've basically sharing what will be eventually my full scale product. And what I'm working on right now is getting the nuts and bolts part. How do I teach a contractor to not be repelled by this, right? Because I don't like, we can drop the systems, we build them, like that's our end game. But I also want to see, how do we teach somebody to implement this? So in there's simple steps. We're going to, it's a step-by-step process. So you can gently, start to see how this thing works, start to get results, quick wins, quick results, quick things that you can implement with your business. Easy. It doesn't, like, again, if you've done a traditional course, it's not a course. I have to, and you've seen it too. It's
Yeah.
literally a step-by-step. It's like an instruction, and it's going to give you a result. Then once you're sort of open, your mind's open a little bit to what its capabilities are, that's when the bells will start to go off. And I'm very convinced of this, is that education first. We're going to educate and let you know this isn't something to be scared of. All right. This isn't something to be overwhelmed by. We just have to get started. And getting started doesn't have to, like, again, we've been working on this. Like I'm a geek for this stuff. I love it. Getting you started is my mission. All right. Because that's the first step in prevention. And the prevention here is that we don't close our minds off to it. And we actually take the next step, which is, okay, let's get something in place now that's going to, prevent me from having to compete with, with the big box stores and everyone else when they implement it, and all of a sudden they can do things more efficiently than you, right? Don't get caught in that. Like there's a big opportunity here, but equally a bigger threat if you don't.
So school is where we've got our trainings.
Yep.
And it's essentially for anyone who's serious about this. So
Exactly.
we're not the dabblers, but like, and no offense if you're a dabbler, that's fine. We're not judging. But if is for not for the dabblers, but for the folks that are like serious and like, like, hey, I'd
Yeah.
like to take this for a test drive. I'd like to understand this better.
Right.
Right.
Right. So again, the ideal person that I'm looking to work with here, again, primarily would be, above that 7-figure range. I'm okay if you're going to contribute. All right. I'm here to listen to you. I want to know what our audience is really struggling with, what they're what they're feeling. I've got, again, I've brought in a lot of people through this journey. But I want to hear what our community has to say. And this is really what it's about. It's about building a community around this topic, around this, this desire to move our business forward with these things, and for me to be able to create and to develop things that are going to, again, help you grow your business. I need to hear what you say. Like I need to know, right? So I'm inviting you guys to, take our, like, if we're for hiring, for example, this is our school. I mean, here's the information. Here's how you put together a hiring process step by step by step. And you can just easily see, I mean, these are all prompts, right? So again, I give you the step by step. I give you the prompts. You know what I mean? Use it yourself and see it.
And we're just inviting, so folks that want to get access to this and they're serious.
Yeah.
We're just inviting them in, and we're,
well, we're not inviting everyone. So again, there's
Cool.
no charge at this, like right now, again, provided that you're going to put your hand up, you're going to contribute, they're going to be like, again, the cool thing about school is if you don't take the course, if you don't take the content and you don't take action on it, it shows me that, right? So this is not, if you're coming in and you're absorbing the information and you're sharing your insights with the rest of the community, you're in, no problem. If you don't, you're out. It's simple as that. I don't need to, again, I'm doing this to listen to what you guys have to say and to get your feedback. If you can't give me that, then it's no use to me.
So what are we, so if somebody's interested in taking this AI thing for a test drive and seeing how they can get it going in their CRMs, because I'm sure there's folks that are going to see this or then are in here that have actually very active CRM. how can they let us know that today?
So
Or
I
when they
would
see this?
in the chat, drop the line school. Just put in school. We'll reach out to you. Again, we'll give you access to a couple of the demos. I want you to run it yourself, just kind of get your mind wrapped around it. If it's something that at that point you can see kind of where we're going with it, all right, book a strategy call with me. All right. I'm going to give you value. I'm going to tell you what your next steps are. We'll book you into a strategy call. Again, I don't care if we sell to you or not. That's not our mission. Our mission is obviously to bring this technology to everybody and to get a community built around this. Community is our biggest asset in this fight. So that's what we're trying to build. We want to make sure we got the right people in there. So again, comment school. We'll see if you're the right fit for our school program. And again, I need case studies. I need proof that other people are benefiting and not just our select mastermind groups. And again, when you get to the stage where you need to implement, that's what our team is here. We are a DFY consultant. We come in, we drop these things in high level. Again, you're not going to spend the next 10 years learning it. We just put it in place for you, and you're set.
And for anyone out there that, and you're critical, you're going, well, you guys are, I mean, ultimately you got to sell some stuff. Of course that's true.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, we're a for-profit business, but we want to work with people that need this, right? That can plug this into their business right now, and then we can bring immediate value to it. So that's why Jay's saying what he's saying, where it's hey, we're listening because, obviously, Jay is a system whisperer and he has built some unbelievable systems, and we have clients right now using them, and have a lot more clients in the next few weeks But, we want to work with people that that can take this and really apply it, and where we can really make the most impact.
And we want to hear ideas, right? Again,
and
the more people we get,
and we want
that,
feedback.
Right. So I mean, this is I believe again, I'll go as far as saying it's a movement, right? At the end of the day, all right, there's going to be guys that have it and guys that have not got it. Which side do you want to be on? All right. This is new to everybody. Started at the same starting point. All right. It's been 3, 4, 5, 6 months before this thing is really kind of launched. And we're in there's nobody really far ahead enough yet. All right. Where we're trying to position ourselves as being that mechanism that helps to get contractors quickly, protected, quickly, positioned and defended against, guys that have it, right? There's going to be the guys that have it and the guys that have not. The ones that are listening in and they feel they can benefit and they want to come and contribute their comments, their feelings, that's what I'm looking for. I know the systems work, but systems and people work together. All right. I need to make sure this, again, it's a totally different thing when you're bringing a technology like this in that is threatening to jobs, threatening to futures, threatening to your staff. It's going to change, and there's no doubt, and there's very high resistance to it. Okay. Yeah. But long term, all right, the guys that figure it out first, the guys that get, find the bugs, break it, those are that I want to know that stuff now, so that we're in position to help as many contractors as we can going into the future.
That's right. Right. That's right. So if you want this, if you want to, you're interested in this, comment school, and and Jay's got some questions for you. Yep. Our team will have some questions, but there's a question here from Rob. Thanks for the question, Rob. Can we have our VAs sit in on meetings?
So again, I'm not quite sure what meeting we're referring to. I do offer school once a week. I'm out there Wednesdays, I believe Thursdays, from 2 or 3. Yeah, I mean your VA can. Certainly, I mean, she can take advantage, or he can take advantage of your, the prompts and stuff, but I really prefer that you're there. The reason why is because your VA is not going to implement this. Okay. That's
so we want, so I think Rob's asking, can the VA be, for the trial section, can the VA be in?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Right. So, but
thanks
again,
for clarifying, Rob.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So yeah, your VA would be the one that operates all the systems and stuff. So
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, both of
This
us. Yeah, great question, Rob.
Yeah, the course itself, again, it's designed to be a step by step. It's designed to kind of get the key components to any great recruitment hiring, like all the key principles. Like traditional, again, marketing hasn't changed. The way
Yeah.
people buy hasn't changed. The tools we use to make those sales and market and recruit has changed. So that's what I'm teaching here. That's what I'm trying to get everybody to, see and take advantage of.
Yeah, and he just commented again so that we can both learn. So yeah,
Right.
yeah, your outcome, Rob, is our outcome. We want, Jay, you're not just working, we're not just working with the owner or the
No,
operations
in fact,
manager or the
we've
general
had
manager, right? I mean, you're on when you do these strategy calls, you're on with teams, right? When we're
right.
working
So
with people,
again, because of the nature of what we're doing, most of our contractors are seven figures. They have teams, they're established in some sort of way. We prefer, once we get our scope of work and everything in clear, we bypass the owner because they're the most resistant to change in most cases. They're the most that get upset by a lot of this stuff. And then we also are able to kind of damage control. Okay, so damage control is when a third party comes in. All right, you can put a lot of the blame and a lot of the doubt and concerns onto us. It's kind of the position we've been playing in these plays, and we become the bad guys versus you, right? So it's helped a lot
yeah,
of owners just kind of, know what the play is, understand that these are the things it's going to be like any change. The way we handle change doesn't, it's human being instincts and it's wired into us. All right. But at the end of the day, okay, we lay it all out for you step by step, timelines, our
yeah,
team's on it, we support it. That's where we're getting success. Again, this is why I'm not pushing or trying to say, a course is going to solve this problem. It's not. All right. This is for most guys out there that aren't tech savvy, like this is going to require somebody implementing it for you,
right.
like doing it for you. And so it's done. All right. Because the time it takes, the energy it takes, and how many of you failed with CRMs already? Like we come in, we teach your team, we implement it, it's done. Rip the band-aid off. You guys are set,
So,
you
so
know?
Rob's way is really the preferred way.
Yeah. So I mean he can
we
bring in his
want
yeah.
we,
And
we want people. We want you to bring your teams in.
yeah.
We want to do this together.
Yep, you got it. And we want the community, right? So just be contributing, and I mean that's what we're asking for here.
All right, so we're getting people have been jumping on here, so I just want to say again that if you want access to this, like what we're doing here with the AI and CRM, and as well as other modules, it's in this our platform cards called School. Just comment School in the chat here or DM us, whatever, but comment School. That'll let us know. And then we'll have some questions for you just to make sure that that's a good fit. And we're opening this up to a select few right now, and trying
Our
to
early
get some
adapters.
feedback. Yeah, of the people, yeah, the folks that are hungry, that want to get started on this. We want to make it available and get some feedback. So, all right. Well, I think we've had a pretty good little thing here.
Yeah, I feel that was really productive.
Yeah, so we'll be back again. We're here every Friday, 3 p.m. We're live. We upload the lives. They're in the group. So on LinkedIn, on Facebook. So check us out. Again, if you watch it on replay, comment. We're looking for the comments, whether it's live or on replay. And we'll be back next week, 3 p.m. Friday. And thanks for hanging out with us. We will see you soon, everybody.